My name is John FAHNESTOCK, also known as Tumor. I play the bass in Snot.
Fantastic, brother. Thanks for joining us on a Sunday.
All right. It's
Right.
fucking Saturday. It's Saturday night here, so
Fuck, you
all
should be
right.
out partying, mate. What are you doing talking to me?
Got fucking Saturday night fever with you, bro. Right here. Let's do it.
Fantastic. So Snot return to Australia early next year, mate, for 3 shows with Soulfly and Nailbomb, starting in Brisbane, January 26th. Then you hit Sydney and Melbourne, and you finish as part of Froth and Fury in Adelaide on the 31st of January. Like, that's not a bad
Damn.
couple of bands to hit the road with, mate. Soulfly and Nailbomb.
Right, right. Good friends of ours, known each other for God, going on 25 years or more, you know. Mikey also played in Soulfly after Snot, after Lynn had passed. So we're out on the road with the family again. We played with Soulfly in Mexico City back in May and rekindled our friendship. And here we are coming to Australia now.
Fantastic. It's been over a decade since Snot was last out here in Australia. So what's changed with the band in that time? I know it's a big answer, but sum it up for us.
Ah, well, the greatest thing that happened to us is we found our fucking singer that we've been looking for since we lost Lynn, and his name is Andy Knapp, and we couldn't be happier to be back and playing shows with Andy on vocals, and everything's just been amazing so far. Selling out shows from all over England, we were in Belgium, we were in France, we were playing the festivals in the U.S., and now we're coming down under with Andy. So that's what's up.
Yeah,
We're gonna come
no.
down there. Yeah, we're gonna play Get Some, maybe a few other tasty tunes on the side. We'll lay down, and then working on some new music too later, and then hope to drop that maybe, you never know, January or maybe February.
Yeah, no. So you mentioned the new singer, Andy. Like, it couldn't have been an easy for you guys finding the right singer to replace Lynn. Like, you tried out Tommy and Carl since he passed, but did you ever really know what specific things you were looking for in a new singer, or was it more trial and error and see how it goes?
Well, I think things are a lot different now. Um, we're pretty much saying Snot is back at this point. We finally found in Andy what we basically were dreaming of having. And I'm not saying anything negative on the past singers that we had. Before, when we put Snot together, it wasn't like we're reforming, we're back, anything like that. We were just more doing it for fun, for the love of music, love of Jamie and Mikey and myself playing together. And we were like, let's go out and play the songs, but it wasn't like seriously saying like we're back and, coming back to here to stay and swing, like we are now. And like I said, it's a blessing to have found Andy and what he's doing. And obviously, the response from the fans has been nothing but positivity.
Yeah, great. And it was earlier this year that you played your first shows, mate. So aside from being on stage with a new singer, how was it to be back on stages, not knowing that you've actually had a bit of a future this time?
Oh, yeah. I mean, coming off this last tour and seeing the response from the crowd, I mean, yeah, it brought tears to our eyes, It was and it brought tears to their eyes, to our fans, I look out and see people crying that are like in their 16-year-olds, and they're singing our songs, and they know all the lyrics, and they're fucking losing their mind. And it was like I wasn't expecting that at all, and it wasn't that way 10 years ago when we ran through those areas. I mean, yeah, a lot has changed. I think there's a big resurgence now of bands from the 90s, the late
Mm.
90s, getting a whole resurgence. And I see it a lot. And it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. I think uh, that style and the metal thing is actually coming back now and being embraced.
Timing's a big thing in this industry, and getting the timing right with things like that.
Yeah, totally. I
Mhm.
mean, there was a festival in the U.S. and it kind of where this all started, and it's called Sick New World, and I went there, and it was like System of a Down, and Cold Chamber, and Incubus, and all the bands that came up in that era. And that's when Mikey and I again started getting the fire under our ass, thinking, dude, if we could only find the right singer, you know, we could do this again. So, and we did. So we're back.
Yeah, nice, nice. Now, going back to the early days, like you've been with Snot back in the beginning from mid-90s, but what was the musical climate like back then? And where did Snot fit in initially when you started?
I don't think we ever really well, we did fit in, but I think everybody was kind of doing their own thing then. And then it kind of all become more cookie cutter as the years went by. But I still back then, I came from the East Coast. I didn't know anything about bands like Korn or Deftones.
Right.
So when I first landed in Santa Barbara and I met Lynn and Mikey, like Lynn's like, hey, let's go check out this band Korn. They're gonna blow up. They're gonna be big, And there was still a baby band then, and all that. And Korn, Deftones, they sound completely different, and definitely Snot sounds completely different. I think all these bands were doing their own thing back then, and then I think that's when the new metal term came about.
Mhm.
They're like, well, nobody could put their finger on what it was, and they go, this is some kind of new metal that they're doing. I think that's how that term came
That,
about,
that makes
you know.
sense.
Yeah, so there you go. That's
There it is. Your musical style, it was a fusion of new metal, hardcore punk, and funk, but back then it wasn't as common as what it is now. So you guys nailed it from the start, bro. Like, how did you find the balance between all those genres back then in the creative process?
fuck yeah. Great question. Well, fucking crazy is, like I said, I'm from the East Coast. The other guys are from the West Coast. We didn't grow up together. We didn't know each other, but we all were influenced by the same style as a music and kind of um, combined them together. I mean, I grew up loving, starting early with full bands, like AC/DC, and then I got into like the British heavy metal invasion, and then I discovered punk rock, and I really fucking loved punk rock as a kid, and I kind of always from then I got away from metal so much, and it was that mixture of those two styles. So then when you met like Mikey and Lynn grew up to like No Effects, RKL, Bad Religion, but then like fucking Bad Brains, and then Pantera, and then the grunge movement and stuff like that. And then this, we melted together, and and then we all love Faith No More. Faith No More does all kinds of crazy shit, music genre wise, and I think it's a lot of the influence of what Snot was about, where every single song is kind of a lot different from the first, but they all fit together like a puzzle. You know what I mean?
Mm, very cool. And then you released your debut album, Get Some, in 1997, which it bridged a gap between the growing number of new metal bands out there, mate. But when you wrote and recorded the album, like, were you just confident it'd be something special, or were you more just making music for yourselves back then?
I've always been confident. Yeah, I think we all were striving to make the best fucking record we could. Um, yeah, we didn't want any slackers on the record. We kicked a
Mhm.
lot of songs to the curb. We wrote a lot before that record, and there's a lot of songs on tape. Like, why didn't you do that song? Why'd you do that song? And and back then we were discovering ourselves. So anything that we may have wrote and go, oh, that sounds like corn, or we throw it in the trash.
Uh,
You know, or not out of disrespect. It's like we were trying to melt, find who we were. We didn't want to like replicate what any other bands were doing on Sunset Strip, and we did our own thing up in Santa Barbara. And then when we came down there, like everybody was doing their same thing, like, and that's when we met up in with System, and then shit, Sevendust flew out from Georgia and played Roxy with us, and then we flew back there and played with them on the East Coast. And it was a lot of bands doing their own thing, but like I said, new metal, and like what
mm.
is new metal? what everybody has maybe their own definition of what it is.
I'm running with yours from now on, brother. I think it's perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it was obvious back in those early days that Lynn's charisma and his infectious personality were a large part of the band's early success. But what was his personal outlook on Snot? What was his vision for the band?
What was his what for the band at the end?
His vision for the band and his personal outlook on it.
I think he was living his vision, everything how he envisioned it. Really, I mean, his lyrics are basically his life story.
Mm-hmm.
He was, you know, um, every like we rehearsed a lot and we practiced a lot and we all had a vision. We were very dedicated to it. Luckily, we only a few of us had tiny little day jobs, but we definitely rehearsed like 6 to 8 hours a day. I not shit
Right.
you, and like a lot of writing music together, and yeah, that's how it came about.
Yeah. And unfortunately, as we all know, like Lynn was taken from us in 1998, and the band understandably chose not to continue. But you had a heap of songs ready for the next album. I've heard a couple of different versions on this, so I just wonder if you could clear it up for us. Like, one version is that the nucleus of those songs was used for the album Straight Up, and the bands wrote their own lyrics for the songs. But then I've heard as well that Mike wrote specific new music for that album with the singers in mind. Like, which one of those is correct?
Well, honestly, Starlit Eyes was around when Lynn was around,
Mm-hmm.
still with us, and mainly, I wouldn't say the nucleus of the songs were written for Snot, and I would say none of the songs were written in general for any of those singers. They were
Oh,
just they were written, and then we wrote a list of singers that we thought we would work well on those songs who intertwined with us in our lives that deserved to be on that record.
yeah.
So you're like, you were like, oh, this song would, I think Brandon from Incubus would sound good on, and this one Max would sound good on, but we weren't like, oh, we got to pen a song for Max, we got to
Yeah.
write a
Okay.
song, or yeah. So we just wrote and wrote and wrote, and then we're like, what are we gonna do with this music? But maybe two or three ideas were around before Lynn died, but mainly it was all written afterwards. And then what are we gonna do with this music? And then let's we dreamed up about finding singers to sing on every single song.
And did those singers write their own lyrics from their own personal point of view, or the lyrics written for them?
No, absolutely wrote. Yeah, they weren't penned by us whatsoever. And each person came in with their own way of the way they do it. It was a cool process to watch. I got
Mm.
to when I wasn't on tour with Amen, I got to see the Dez from Cold Chamber do his. I got to see Jonathan from Korn. I was there for Angel's Son, some of that, and then some of the music was done when Mikey wasn't on tour with Soulfly. He was putting the album together, so we were both sharing like producer to put it together. We were both working on it when we had the time.
It was and still is probably one of my favorite all-time albums. Straight Up, bro. Like a brilliant album. When you take the emotion out of it as well, it's still a brilliant album. But how
I
difficult was it for you guys to even begin working on something like that?
Yeah, it was painful. I mean, we just lost Lynn, and you know, we're grieving his loss. It wasn't an easy album to make. It was a lot involved, and a lot of people said it couldn't be done. But we were headstrong that we could do it, and at the end we pulled it off. Yeah, I it'd be cool if somehow someday we could get it. I don't even know where the tapes or anything lie, but to remix that album and make it sound the way it should sound. I really wish we could have a remix of the Straight Up album.
I still can't watch a video for Angel Son and not cheer up, mate. Like you guys it must be 10,000-fold for you guys. It's a beautiful monument to his life and the music he left behind. Good on you for actually doing that for the fans as well, mate. Like it's very get hot effort.
Yeah, this is a beautiful moment. Filmed in Malibu on the beach, and we asked everybody to come out that could, and a lot of people showed up. And it was just the director said what he was trying to do, and then we pulled it all off in one evening. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Now you spoke about some new music before, so I believe you've tracked 2 songs earlier this year, which you plan to release late this year or early next year. What can you tell us about them?
Mikey and I, we've been writing for like 6, 7 years now. Believe it or not, we've put away a lot of music that we recorded, and we kind of kept it under the belt. And then when we found Andy, we were like, "Hey, let's revisit those songs that we stashed away." And then Mikey's like, "No, let's write 2 new ones too, and then add to it, and then revisit and re-record those." So when we went in and we still gel like that. It's crazy. So we threw down 2 new songs with Chris Collier. He works with Korn, and Mikey does a lot of stuff with Chris in Vegas. So we just got drums done with Jamie when he had some time off with Bad Religion. Our drummer plays in Bad Religion also. And now we're going to work on vocals with Andy, and we're going to go in November and start messing around with it and see where it goes.
Nice. And so the music that you've got for it, like, does it have the same eclectic disregard for convention as the band had back then?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we write. It's crazy. And Mikey picks up a guitar, and it's just it smells like snot, bro. It's like, damn, it's fucking eerie. And what's really eerie is like I could still hear I could hear Lynn. I could like what would Lynn do on this? Like in my head, I could hear him because it sounds like he should be there. So yeah, it's crazy.
Best it is, man. Best. No, you've probably been asked this 1,000 times, bro, but my 9-year-old daughter asked me this morning and I couldn't answer it. So you're going to have to answer it for her. Like, where does the band's name not come from? She wanted to know if someone wiped snot on someone's face and that's how it came about. But I said, I don't think so.
You know, the story is I wasn't even in the band. At the time, Mikey thought of it. He was, and actually, Mikey didn't think of it. It was the original, I believe, bass player. And Mikey's like, we need a cool name. And the original bass, he's like, and the original bass player is like, we could be anything. We could just be called Snot. And Mikey's like, that's it. And that's how it came about. Is the original bass player blurted out. He was like, we could call ourselves anything. And he was just saying something ridiculous. And, you know, and it stuck.
Well, I lost the bet with it because I told her I thought it would have been. You were chatting one day and he went, it's not good enough. Oh, it's not. But
oh yeah, it's quite a punny name.
Oh shit! All right, John. Thanks for your time, bro. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. Snot in Australia from January 26th with Soul playing an album. They're playing all around the place, playing Froth and Fury, and do yourself a favor. I've never seen you live before, bro, but this is something been 25 years in the making for me, so I'm looking forward to it.
Shit. All right.